What's going on, folks? Payments. Um, so I take some time off during this week. Being the 4th of July fell on a Wednesday. Of course, had Wednesday off, yesterday off. Had some friends over, had a couple drinks, ate some food, kicked back, and I said, what the hell? I'll just take the rest of the week off. So, enjoying a little staycay. Many of y'all know I just moved to a new state and just get some time to really get the things I needed. I wanted to put up some nice, do some interior decorating. Been ripping and running pretty much since I've been here. And this allows me some time to do that. Went to Lowe's, got me a couple nice palms, nice, beautiful indoor plants for my pad and stuff and things like that. Some artwork, because my walls were so bare, and frankly, I got tired of looking at them, and I wanted to put some stuff up. But anyway, just relaxing. I've been watching Luke Cage, been binging on Luke Cage for the last couple hours yesterday after my company left, and all the way up to now. I decided to do a video. But anyway, not to bore y'all with that. I mentioned, I believe in my last video, that I did a video before that, prior to the video that was up when I talked about energy vampires. And I believe, I don't believe, that video was flagged, and I talked about immigration and how all this media sensationalism with families being separated at the borders, and how I was indifferent to that situation. You never want to see any kids separated. But I've said this, that those people that come across their river, that trek through miles, hundreds of miles of coyote, scorpion, rattlesnake infested deserts, they know what's up. They know what's up. They knew what was up. And when I get to thinking about it, I kind of equate this to the transatlantic slave trade. Them chieftains in Africa centuries ago that sold, quote unquote, sold their countrymen, their brethren, to European captors and people that dealt in that trade of human beings. Those chiefs, those kings or wherever, they knew what the hell was going on. You gonna sit here and tell me over the course of hundreds of years that something didn't click in their head and say, hey, these people not coming back? And that, in fact, they didn't give a damn about the people that they sold to Europeans to bring us, our ancestors, to a new world. And the same damn thing concerning these people that are in Guatemala, Mexico, Honduras. I know there's word coming back to people that have made it or didn't make it and say, hey, if you try to come over here, it's a good possibility your ass may get caught and you may be separated from your children. So those people, I'm indifferent, because those people that did that knew the cost. They knew the cost of making such a daring act to get into a country illegally. And now, you see all these people having a conscience, going back to the slave trade of other human beings centuries ago in America, there wasn't really. I mean, you had some people that were concerned and probably had some type of sympathy, but for the greater collective, nobody cared if black folks were separated from each other. But that's not the point of this video. I just wanted to put that in your head and kind of get the wheels turning concerning this. Again, it's unfortunate, but I'm indifferent to it because those people knew the cost when they was doing that. But I wanted to talk about black folks, especially black men. When it all started off under the Obama administration, it all started off with Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Michael Brown. The shooting of black kids, black men who did no wrong. And now we're to the point to where people are desensitized to the shootings that are going on about black men. In other words, we have made it such a big deal. People don't even really care no more. And frankly, I'm kind of tired of hearing young black men being shot. Not only because it's an unfortunate event, it's because, okay, so what you gonna do about it? Black Lives Matter. What are you going to do about it? I had people threatening me and all this stuff and all this jive, man, when I made videos about those 3 incidents and a couple other incidents. But yeah, you have the people who actually perpetrated that still walking around. Like I had people threatening to take my life, which is, it is what it is. But what are you going to, and I say that because, look, the Negro plight is mute now. Nobody cares. You got black folks out here, like myself, to where it's old news now. And then I think the way that America look at it is, a lot of Americans, they're like, hey, man, somewhere down the line, these young black men that are being shot and killed, maybe they played some part in their death. Excuse me. Maybe they played some part in their death. Now, this is not painless saying that. This is what I'm trying to get into the minds and tell you where I think that why a lot of people just really don't care no more. And I said this with black folks too. Look, the white male-dominant society has found another person to pat on the head and usher in and roll out certain favors and incentives that black folks used to get. You see, we're the days of kowtowing to black folks, giving black folks what they want is over. They found the Hispanic to do that too. This is why there's such an uproar and an outcry about this situation with families being separated at the border. They're the new face of white male dominant pity. You see, they've given us, or you Negroes, all that you could have had, and yet many of us squander it. That day is gone. And don't let me hear about, you concerned with Carlos or Maria coming over here and taking your jobs. Many of y'all know my position on that. There should, if you've used all your resources correctly, there is absolutely no reason why you should be worried about people crossing those deserts taking a job from me. That's pathetic. You know, it's 2018. You know, there's poverty, but you know what? When I go through major cities, inner cities, and I see people who don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of with the new iPhone 8 Plus, I'm less sympathetic to you not having access to things that can better your life. And that's what we have now. You see, back in the 70s and before then, I can get it. Because you had real haves and have nots. There ain't no more haves and have nots in America in 2018. There's no reason why you should be sitting up here saying white male this, white privilege this, and blaming white supremacy for that. White supremacy is not keeping you from getting a job and worried about Carlos or Selena getting a job over you. You are the problem. You know, even with these shootings that I've said, you know, sometimes you got to really be a detective and say, hey, what actions on the victim that he or she could have done differently to prevent themselves from being shot and killed? You got to ask those tough questions. But you know, as black folks, we don't want to hear that. We live in a perpetual state of victimhood, and any notion of bringing up the idea that this young man or this young woman did something wrong is unfathomable. You know, we just don't want to hear that. But we got to hear that. We got to ask those questions. You know, since I've been here in Texas, I've had no problems with no police. And shit, the way that people be talking, man, I was kind of scared to come over here. But see, I know when you deal and carry yourself a certain way, police ain't gonna bother you. And it's funny, the area that I'm in, thank goodness, I don't see a lot of loitering Negroes and Hispanics around here. Thank goodness, because I chose to live in an area where you don't see that. I live around a lot of ex-retired military, retired folks, period, people that work on certain bases and things like that, people working other jobs. You don't see too many milling around scoundrels and knuckle draggers around here. Now, you go to San Antonio, you'll see that. But I don't live, I live far from San Antonio, so I don't see that. And I chose to live where I'm at because I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to have to deal with that. But yeah, the days of, look, you're getting no more free lunch, no more free breakfast, black folk. You're not getting that because you've been given the resources to better yourselves and to do something for yourselves. No, not everyone's going to be Bill Gates, but you can live modestly. There's a lot of poor-ass white folks, you know? But to sit up here and say white privilege and white supremacy is the reason why you can't get to where you need to get to, and you out here making babies, and you out here making stupid-ass decisions and choices, that's on you. That is on you. You know, this ain't no I pulled myself up by the bootstraps, you can do it too. It may sound like that, but that's not my intent. I'm just saying that there's a new group that is being pandered to, where it was black folks that doesn't exist anymore. America is tired of your complaining and in their eyes race baiting and pulling a race card. Hence, I said their eyes. They're tired of that. They don't want to hear that no more. Frankly, I don't want to hear it neither. You know, I mean, you can take it how you want. So this is why you see so much um, sympathizing to these groups of people that are getting into this country illegally. You know, I mean, I just look at it like I said. I'm indifferent to it, and it's something that unfortunate, but I don't really have a stake in it. I don't know what to say. But one thing I can say is that you've been thrown away, black folk. We've been it's time to do for ourselves in terms of our individual selves, and that's it. I mean, when you look at black men, I've known a lot of black men that have made a lot of stupid decisions, not because of some white system. It's usually they've made stupid decisions. They had a drug problem, alcohol problem. They died young because they didn't take care of themselves. They chased after women, dealt with women that they should not have, had babies with these women, and lost a lot of things that they should not have lost. But because of their decisions, you know, that's what happened. So get used to it. This is just how it is. I've said this before in other channels and other videos, they got your black vote on lock. You know all these things, but you still vote for policies and laws that don't put you in a good situation. And for the life of me, I don't understand that. And you used to being used as a political football. I've said how you can tell all these white politicians, Democrat type, come down to the church, eat hog mogs with your greens, mac and cheese, fried chicken, sing a couple Negro black hymns, and off they go. And you don't see them no more because they got your vote. And that's the same thing they're trying to do with Hispanics. And I've talked about Hispanics, not all, but a lot of them think they're in with that white group. And they're going to be surprised as well in time. You can see it with neighborhoods. Black folks moving up to upper middle class neighborhoods. They're leaving Watts. They're leaving Compton. They're leaving East Cleveland. They're leaving North St. Louis. And they're moving to other desired areas. And these Hispanics are coming in. It's not them running black folks out. It's just black folks, the ones that made quote unquote right choices, got up out of there. And now you black folks that are still in them areas, you're dealing with the residual effects that immigration has been put in place. So you fighting. So Dontre, who didn't move out from North Houston, he's fighting with Carlos in the neighborhood. He's fighting with them. Juanita is fighting with Keisha in the neighborhood over resources. And don't give me that. You know what? And what's so, you hear these folks saying they can't get out the hood and all this stuff. No, it's like I said, it's 2018, man. If you in the hood still, it's because you want to be there. If you on Section 8, you can take Section 8 anywhere in America and move to a decent area. And many of y'all women in these neighborhoods, you quick to go down there and get your name on that list, move out. You know, and it's sad because I've talked about, you know, I've said that these liberals, they're reclaiming the inner cities through gentrification. We know this. They're putting up all these tea shops and herbal shops and all this stuff, you know, where there were black restaurants and stores and things like that. I said that they're reclaiming the inner city and they're pushing all these black folks out into the suburbs. I was saying this on Iceman's show not too long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. I said my auntie, she bought a house in Jonesboro, South Atlanta. And any of y'all from the A, y'all know Jonesboro back in the late 80s was a nice community. Nice, well-to-do community. Now Jonesboro ain't shit. Because all them goons and stuff moved out of there, moved from Decatur and East Point and moved out to Jonesboro. And now Jonesboro is just as worse, if not worse. And you got a lot of people, you got this, you know, it's just one of those things. You got people that lived out there, you know, before all this gentrification. They're like, don't bring all them Negroes out here. And I could totally understand. I mean, but in a gist, look, you're not in anymore. If you lacking in 2018 and you black, you are in a high disadvantage. You are behind the power curve. And you have all these resources available. There's no reason why you should be 60 years old trying to start a new career. If you don't have a career, I mean, some people retire from a job, maybe want to get 5 years vested in another position or another career and then have 2 retirements. Of course, that second retirement won't be as much, but people do that. But if you're 60 years old, day one trying to start a career, you didn't do anything right. You didn't do anything right. You know, I mean, and that's what you have in America now. Like I think about, you know, it's when you go home and see the same people. I made a video said, it's too late now, girl, how I went to a Piggly Wiggly and I saw this female that used to be, she was the type of female that she used to just mess with older guys that had the car, and all these dudes was hawking after her, trying to get at her. And she didn't pay guys like us no mind. And now I went in that Piggly Wiggly. I never forget, it's about 4 or 5 years ago. And she looked like she had an extra 5 to 7 years on her. She had that back, arm, elbow fat. She had 4 kids. And her son, one of her kids' daddies, was in jail. And she was living in a cheap old apartment complex, working at Piggly Wiggly as a cashier. Talk about from classy to ashy, from sugar to shit. You know? And I see a lot of women like that. And she had that attitude too. And it's kind of sad. You kind of feel sorry for women. And that's why I say, you women out here, you young women that think you got it going on and got your legs open for everybody, and you get a quick high off dudes wanting you and wanting to be with you. I tell you what, in 20 years, things gonna be a whole lot different in 20 years. You know, all this government handout stuff. That's just gonna come to an abrupt halt sooner than you think, and that's just the way it is now. But yeah, they're basically ushering in Hispanics to be that new poster child of doing right by minorities. It used to be black folks. They felt that they've done enough for y'all. You squandering it, getting shot in the street. Now the Hispanic man is up. The Hispanic woman is up. And, they'll have their chance. But I think they'll do better because they're more family oriented. They're more cohesive versus us. And, they probably won't shit on it. And you hear this from Hispanics too. I've heard Hispanics say, we're not going to end up like black folks, per se. We're going to use, and of course, many of them have that European look, and they're able to really weave in. But that's cause for another video. But you know what, black folks, it's up. The ante is up with us. It's no more free lunch. It's done. Nobody cares about us getting shot in the street no more. I think it'd be well to do just to be quiet, because obviously nothing else changes. Marching, protesting, those archaic forms of protest don't work, because many times you're going down to the same so-called white supremacy system to ask for permission to march, which means really they're limiting your movement. They're controlling. So, those archaic forms of protest don't work. The best thing you can do is to get economically sound, take care of yourself first, and teach others. That's the best thing black folks can do. Go to school, set some norms and standards for your individual family, and teach others. Set standards for yourself and teach others. And that's all I got to say on that. Peace.